We're live again, and I'm assuming you know when you get those three little dots, why would you have those three little dots? If you, oh yes, we're in, we're doing it live. All right, see you outdoor. Oh fucking hell, mate. You know, having said that, it was a lot easier to sort this out. Again, you have to excuse my glasses. I'm sure that there'll be a couple of people that say, just shut the fuck up about your glasses. Don't worry about it. But unfortunately, without them, I can't. It looks like your message got cut off. Could you please resend? I'm here to help with whatever you need. Huh? Co-pilot? Who's co-pilot? Right, so we've got allegedly 5 people now that are watching this live stream. So can all 5 of you please just put something in the comment, even if it's just a thumbs up, you know? I'm not asking you to do a thumbs up. I never ask you to do a thumbs up. I'm not a thumbs up. Make sure smash that subscribe button. You know, I'm none of that. You do it if you want to do it, you know, and the same as sharing any of my videos. Share them to your heart's content, but I'll never say, please, please smash that like button, please subscribe, please share. You'll never get that from me. Never. Right, Michael Robinson. Hello, audio and visual good. Chat enabled this end. Brilliant. In answer to your previous stream, I have been watching you for a while now. I live stream a lot on another YouTube channel. Was a challenge to message you when no chat. Yeah, it's very, very frustrating. It is frustrating. Believe me, it's probably more for. Hey, old man time, old uncle time. Lovely to see you, man. Was it on the Matrix? Yes, it was. Yeah. So yeah, I took it off that because for obvious reasons that was clearly an issue for, you know, it kind of by default wouldn't allow me to activate the comment section. So let me just go back to I don't want to keep Munson leaning like that, you know. Was a challenge to message you when no chat. Yeah, it was honestly, mate. It was a lot more frustrating for me because I put the pressure on. Make the kids is only for videos that normal kids should watch. Always say no to that. Yeah, generally when I do upload a walk or talk or whatever, there's always that option. You know, is it okay for kids? And I always click yes because generally I think a lot of what I'm saying needs to get in young minds as well. You know, I think one of the problems that we've got in society, if I'm completely honest with you, is too many kids wrapped up in cotton wool and not you know, just kind of. I get it. I get why people are not telling them about what's really happening in the world. But I think I do think that all parents need to find some form of approach again, it goes back to balance. So, oh shit, I don't know if I've probably got a strike for having the radio in the background there, even though it's all shit music. Shut up. Shut up. Now they say hate is a strong word, right? And it is. But I fucking hate adverts, hate them. And that's again, that's another benefit for oh, quite a bit more just jumped in there. And oh yeah, and thanks Michael Robinson as well for letting me know that everything sounds all right and looks okay. Yeah, it's clearly different. I've got no idea, old uncle. What's your real name? Just your first name. Just because I just think this is I think this is a very, very personal intimate channel, you know. You don't have to give it, mate, and there's no pressure, just curious. Because old uncle time is right. So T Outdoors is James. Nice to meet you, James. Where do you hail from, brother? Are you UK based? I'm assuming you are, and I'm assuming you like tea. World of Warcraft noob. I hate adverts too. Yeah, they're sick of me. They're so intrusive, you know. And there was a point where I was really, really struggling to Southeast London currently. We're currently living in Yorkshire. Whereabouts in Yorkshire? Because you can go from a frying pan into a fire. Sir Ben. That's a very nice, very strong YouTube handle. That is. Right, so just out of the shit zone then. James, that goes to you. Rob. I'm going to call you Rob from now on, if that's all right, mate, instead of giant caps OUT. Hello, HW100. That's a very unusual YouTube name. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. Are any of you guys going to be on your? I don't even need my phone anymore. You know, that's it. We fixed it. Are any of you guys going to be on your Jack Jones tomorrow? I think I've got a feeling Rob might. Just a feeling, but I have been known to be wrong from time to time. Yeah, if any of you guys, so we'll pick a. Hey mate, I think you work better when you're on your own. That's Al's retro handhelds. You work better when you're on your own. No distractions. You do things at your own pace with more focus. Great channel, following for a long time. Thank you, HW100. I'd love to know the origins of the inspiration behind a YouTube name like that. I'm sure it's very interesting. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us. You know, I think over the last 4.5 years, I think it's coming. You know, eventually, until the kids come over from their mums in the afternoon, all on my Todd. Enjoy it. Enjoy the peace. you know. I think most women think that we can't wait to get them out the door so we can fuck off upstairs and knock one out, and that's not the case. So to all of you ladies out there, you're off the mark, you know. We're not all sexual deviants. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Rob. Since my personal abolition of the TV license and all that, why would you pay? Why would anyone pay? I don't even know how much it is now, but I know it's gone up. But why would anyone pay to have absolute mind-numbing, brain-destroying bollocks and propaganda peddled 24 hours a day, mainly based on taking the occasional truth now and then exasperating it or exaggerating it, you know? But generally it's just full-on hardcore propaganda. It's absolute bollocks. And you know, if you think about what we've had to endure over the last, say, 5, coming up to 5 years, we've held our ground, you know, and with that came a sense of freedom. Walking around, lots of people looking at you because you're the only ones that's not got a mask on, you know, and trying to warn people that we love and care about, and just being shot down and ignored. Yeah, all of that, you know, it gave us a bigger sense of freedom because we weren't following the herd off the end of the cliff. We were working our way back the opposite way to the herd, and that takes balls. It does, you know. So many people. I need to make sure I keep reading the comments. Didn't realize my name would be shown in the chat. Did you not? It happens a lot, but hey ho, don't worry about it. Michael Robinson, just let me know when you're going to be out of the house, and let me know what your address is and your account and sort code and your security code on the back of your card, and we're all good. So you are the Outrider. It's nice to know your first name, brother, but I do prefer the Outrider. I think that's a great YouTube name. I think it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We are in a different wavelength to the injectards. Do you know what? I've never heard that saying. Never heard that saying. And we've been very creative because we're creative people. I believe that the vast majority of our little tribe here have got creative streaks, and creative, really truly creative people have a half decent level of criticism, you know, to get it right, to make sure it's right. So it's like self-criticism and criticism of things around us generally. So a critical mind. And I think a lot of us have I need to see, you know, a lot of these when I do a normal video, I've got time to kind of get logged in and respond to all the comments. Whereas this, you know, I'm going to again. This is why I never want a big channel, because I want to be able to respond to every text, and every comment and every email, every single one. And I can't do that if the channel's too big. It's not possible. So yeah, going back to, I'll read the rest of the comments in a second. So going back to Sir Ben, we are on a different wavelength. We are absolutely we're on a different plane, and there are so many ways of looking at that, and I'm sure lots and lots of you guys have tried to analyze society as a whole to try and figure out why we were seeing all of this, and a lot of these people could see none of it. You know, stuff that's blatantly in your face, obvious to us. So yeah, we are again. You know, I've been having, you know, you have these profound sessions where you really think. You know, you try and find patterns and explanations and logic and common sense thrown in with that, and wondering why next door, you know, is probably on what are they at now? Is it the eighth? Getting the screen. Is it the eighth one now? Yeah, really impressive, effective, safe and effective. That effective that you got to keep going back for boosters every few months. Yeah, you couldn't make this shit up. And yeah, TV. What is that? Yeah, what is that? Yeah, so I think what I was trying to get at is that even though we were going against the grain and we stood out, some people tried to give us a bit of abuse, we just bat it away or come out with something 10 times more interesting than they would come out with, because we're smart people, we're very perceptive. And yeah, I mean, I would love to meet a proper full-on hardcore leftist and stay composed and chilled, you know, and positive, and just say, can we go and sit down and have a little bit of a chat? Because I just, you know, I'd just like to get your opinion on things. And I would just fucking tie them up. I'd tie them up and tie them up. Not literally, obviously. I'm not into anything weird like that. Yeah, I would love to sit down with one of these extreme leftists and just tear them apart, tear them limb from limb, just using common sense and knowledge. And we can all do that. Right, I'm falling down. I'm falling behind on the comments, so bear with me. Let me go up a little bit. We are absolutely on different wavelengths, and wavelengths are vibrations, frequencies. They are scientific fact. You know, to any of you woo-woos out there, or anti-woo-woo, you know, I don't think we've got anyone like that in our tribe that's not a bit open-minded. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, Tiad or Michael. Again, I think what I'm going to do initially is just stick to the absolute basics just for tomorrow, kind of have the same layout as what we've got now. I might have a few candles lit behind me, just to add a little bit of ambiance. The cards were already on that shelf, and I'm already looking at them as clutter. You know, if you saw my my lounge and my dining room is very, very African orientated. So I just love African art. So you can't really appreciate. Hold on a minute. So that's the shelving system, or the shelving setup, and it goes right down. And I've got, it's all right because everything's the opposite way around. I'm struggling. All my books, hold on, are down there on the bottom two shelves. But I've got strip lighting that goes all the way around the back of this shelving unit, and it's on 24 hours a day. And to me, it was meant to mimic an African sunrise. Now, I had the opportunity to go over to Africa because my dad was, my granddad spent a big chunk of his life out there. He was a medic during World War II, and he spent a lot of time in Africa. And when he lost his wife, my dad's mum, I never got to meet her. He felt a calling to go back to Africa, so he fucked off back to Africa. When he used to, he'd come back with a few bits and bobs and stuff, and I think that's where my interest started to kind of pick up. I'm falling so behind on these comments. I do apologise, but yeah, I'm not gonna start messing around too much with the settings because we've managed to pull this off, and I think that just for now, this will do. You can hear me. I can read what you're saying. The channel, fortunately, is not very big, so I don't think we need. Oh, someone just sent a little heart up. Who was that? Yeah, so I might end up choosing a couple of you guys as moderators now that we're doing live streams, because this is going to be the first of many. And yeah, the first of many. And I think this is a game changer. It is. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys. What are we doing? All right, bear with me. Let me just catch up a little bit. So going back to the TV license and no longer watching mainstream TV, that was just like another elevation of freedom off of the back of refusing to wear a face nappy or get jabbed with fuck knows what. We are free. I could end up in a jail, which is not happening. I'm ready, and I'm prepped up for that. I'll die fighting. I know I will. I think that is my destiny. But yeah, we ended up with this level of freedom of not being one of the sheep, which is what they were coined early on. So I felt for free, because I was free of their chains and their psyops and their propaganda and their bullshit. I was free of all that. I was thinking independently, and the way I was thinking was right. It was right. I trusted my gut. And I was right. And I do believe that it's possible that I might have saved a few lives along the way, as I'm sure some of you guys have, Right, I'm falling down. I think I'm just a little bit excited about the fact that we've finally managed to pull a live stream off, and I didn't want anyone thinking I think he's avoiding live streams because I think he'd choke, he'd struggle. and that's just not the case. I've wanted to do a live stream for years now, and I'm just sat here so chuffed, you know. We are here to witness, not participate. I think it's a bit of the both, a bit of two, a bit of the both. But I think the latter, we need to pick our battles. Everything has been at a test. The Britney Spears concert, 1, 2, 3, 8, was big test and many failed. I don't understand that, Sir Ben. If you can explain that, I'd really, really appreciate that. We have critical Al's retro handhelds. We have critical and retro handhelds. You know, I've got so much sort of analog, non-electrical tools now. You know, including the old. Let me just get into the camera. The ones where you have to spin the, a manual drill, a non-electric drill. I've got a few of them. I've got so much stuff that's that doesn't require power. It's brilliant. But yeah, we have critical thinking and common sense, and that is an unbelievably powerful combination, which is why they're trying to fuck all that up with people. Because they want serfs, they want slaves, and I will never be a slave, and I don't believe any one of you that's listening to me right now will ever be a slave either. And off the back of all of this, it's making us more resilient and a lot stronger willed, you know. So it's just instead of it grinding us down to some degree in the right way, because desensitization is a bad thing to me in some regard. So watching all of those people get mowed down by an Allen snack bar, seeing that for the first time, that really fucking bothered me. So we don't want to end up being completely desensitized, because I think off the back of that, you end up losing a little bit of your humility, your humanity, your compassion, your empathy. You know, you end up kind of losing a little bit of that, and I wonder if that's part of their plan as well. You know, who knows? Who knows? So old Uncle Time, I've forgotten your name already. I have something called name blindness. I've had it all my life, and someone can tell me their name, and then within a minute it's gone. It's just gone. But in that minute, I will have read you and profiled you just from a minute's worth of conversation, and I never, ever, ever forget a face. Just shit with names. So you saw this coming back in 2015, thanks to the exceptional Switched On workmate that pointed many of us where to look and research. Yeah, you see, I think there have definitely been people. You see, you can go to a bar, right? And I think I might have used this analogy in the past. Because we're all interlinked, we're all connected, right? So I could be stood at a bar, order a pint of Guinness, which it's a drink for a patient man, you know, who doesn't want to just pour the beer. There you go, blah blah blah. You know, it needs to settle, all right? So during that time, you could have someone come up from the left or from the right, ready to order their drinks, and whilst they're sorting your Guinness out, you can have just a 1 minute conversation at that bar that can just give you a tiny little nudge, which further down the line, based on the butterfly effect theory, it's not really that much of a theory, it can give you that much of just a little bit of a nudge to the point where it can change the direction of your life profoundly, from a 1 minute conversation with a stranger at a bar whilst you're waiting for your Guinness. Yeah, and there have been switched on people from the dawn of time, and they've managed to maintain some form of immunity. You know, I think once I was saying to my dad earlier on that you can't extract a critical mind, and you can't extract common sense from a common sense logical thinking person. You can't, and I don't think it's something that I think it's something that's probably very, very difficult to develop. If anything, I think you're either born with it or you're not. You know, you've either got common sense or you haven't, and it doesn't matter whether you've, you know, there are people out there that are so intelligent that they've, you know, completed 2 bachelor's degrees and a couple of masters, you know, in the space of a few years, and they'll be jabbed up to the nines. You know, intelligence comes in a lot of formats, and I think that people like us have the right format. So intelligence with an undertone of logic and common sense, which I do think there's more common sense out there than we think. It's just that we've become more and more, so much more critical of people that were probably exactly the same before all this shit happened. A lot of these people, you know, that we're thinking, you know, you've properly closed down. You are, mate. You're not, you know, you're not a broad thinking person, but you'll be more critical of that now, even though they've probably not changed. You have. Hello, Amanda. How you doing? Well done, beautiful soul, for sorting things out. Yeah, look, do you know what? I wishing you all the priceless things. I know which Amanda that is. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lady. Always positive messages. Some of the most positive comments you can ever. They stand out. They just stand out. Lots of hearts, and you know, just lovely. Just such a lovely. You know, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to meet most of you, if not all of you. In you know, let's see how next year goes, and we'll take it from there. You know, maybe we can arrange a bit of a gathering, because I do think that because of the way that I've kind of run the channel, making sure that I have a fair amount of fucking this and fucking that, and talking about sexual assault and rape and all those words that YouTube hates. It doesn't push the channel, which is a good thing. And as off the back of that, I think we've ended up with a concentration of extremely like-minded people. So if you can imagine all of us meeting up, you know, at some campsite, or you know, a room that we'd hired out, you know, just have a bit of a party and a dance and get to know each other. Can you imagine the energy and the positivity in that room? Having a concentration of people that are not just similar to us, but very, very, very like-minded, very, very, very similar in every aspect, you know, mentally and spiritually. I think that would be incredible, absolutely incredible, and probably quite emotional for me, you know. So yeah, thank you, Amanda. That's lovely. And Watcher 123, lightest frequency. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, everything is. Everything you can see, touch, you know, everything has a frequency. And so we've all got our own sort of individual, unique taste in music, for example, because the vibration, the frequency of that music resonates with us. It resonates with us to the point where we feel like this is my cup of tea, you know. But then so I'm a drum and bass head, and old man Time, who likened, I'm just pointing, I know you can't see my finger, but I'm just pointing to his post. Old man Time is and I know he wouldn't take offense to this. I know he wouldn't, because he's got a good sense of humor. Check his channel out. Dry sense of humor, which is my cup of tea. But he has himself likened himself to Santa Claus, you know. He's got the white beard and, you know, and all that. So I was very, very surprised because in the playlist section of the channel, I've got a few things in there, but there's a lot of things in there that I don't know why they're not publicly available. They're locked. There's a lock. So I need to figure that out, because there is a lot of information I put out in those playlists that I think you would appreciate and benefit from. But yeah, old Uncle Time, for him to turn around and say, "I just checked out your drum and bass mixers. I love drum and bass." Whew, I did not see that coming, you know. I was just saying to someone the other day that even when I finally escaped home at 16, I was on the road like 5 days a week, flogging stuff door to door all over the country. And even then, I was finding my own music, you know, and going into record shops and buying tapes, yeah. You know, the little bastards when they'd all come undone, and you just get your pencil out, put your pencil into the little thing, and just turn it around to get all your tape back in again. I've got loads of tapes. But yeah, I've always, looking back, I've always kind of searched for my own taste of music. I've never really been one of these people that sat there and allowed myself to just to have all of the mainstream music rammed down my throat, or any other information for that matter. And so even when I was like 16, I was listening to what would have been considered back then slightly underground music, dance music. Virtually none of it was in the charts. So you know, when we look back and we reflect on how we are and who we are, and think back to certain oh, I'm so sorry, just hold on. I've never known a drink so much. Misophonia. You know, research it. It's a fucking nightmare. To the point where I've just lost my train of thought. So yeah, I was dead chuffed that old Uncle Time was into drum and bass, because there are some lovely mixers there. And if you just maybe get a glass of wine down, yeah, or you know, whatever it is that you do to chill out, and have a listen to some of that drum and bass, because it is quite mellow and some of it's quite soulful, you know. Drum and bass comes from really, really dark, you know, like, right, I'm hyped up now, I think I might just nip out and stab someone, to intelligent drum and bass like chilled liquid drum and bass, and LTJ Buckham, who was one of the forerunners of that type of music, that genre. Right, I'm waffling now. So all I'm saying is I'm chuffed that old Uncle Time appreciated those music playlists, because they were definitely 100% handpicked. I believe everyone is a drum and bass head. They just need to find their right way in, you know. I think everyone's gone and stopped commenting now, because I think they realised that I was just trying to catch up. Yeah. So educated. Oh right, I need to go back up again. I'm going to focus on, just without talking now, I'm going to focus on the comment section, if you don't mind, just so I can read them out and respond to each one, because that's how I've always rolled with this channel, you know. I'm just having to adapt to another element of it. Yeah, common sense. Hey, Ruth, you all right, Ruthie? You know, even so, Ruth Smith's got a lovely, really, really wholesome channel, and I can be watching a really, really informative video that's probably only just managing to kind of hang in there and just go under the radar with YouTube and the algorithms, but quite kind of, you know, to some degrees disturbing. But if you resonate with it, then there is possibly an element of truth in there. But then I'll see a notification that Ruth Smith just put a video out, and I'll stop watching whatever I'm watching just to listen to her, because she calms me down, she chills me out, and she's got the cutest little chuckle, right? She even managed to pull that chuckle off in her last video, which was the one I shared on the channel. So yeah, go over and have a look at a few of her videos and listen out for that chuckle. It's the cutest I feel like reaching into the screen and getting hold of her cheeks, and she's fucking cute, so fucking, oh, I want to squish you. And Ruth Smith's been part of our little tribe for many years. Educated doesn't mean intelligence, just that you are able to read. Just as a professional doesn't mean expert. Prof means you get momentary reward for a skill. Expert means you're great at a skill. You see, I'm kind of a little bit of a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And the same goes with my knowledge. I've not really it's never been honed in one specific direction, and I don't want that. I want to be kind of multi-dimensional, multifaceted, you know, a layered individual with lots of different opinions on lots of different things. And yeah, that's one aspect of me, one of the few aspects of me that I do appreciate. But you still make a good point. Owls Retro handhelds, the Outrider. So you've gone in there, haven't you, and altered that. So your real name's not up there. Oh, mate, a proper conspiracy theorist attitude there. I don't want people knowing my fucking name. We, the unvaccinated, we're the purebloods. We are the purebloods, but I'm also aware that we have people in our little tribe that I appreciate and value just as much as pure bloods, if you like, that did get jabbed. You know, they did. They had a momentary lapse of judgment and got jabbed, but I don't think there are any of our tribe that's got boosted up. I don't think. And I know of at least one of you guys out of all of this, out of everyone that's interacting right now. I know of at least one of you guys that got jabbed, and I know for a fact you left it there, which is good, because you'll continue to benefit the human race, you know, in your own little way. So I'm not going to mention that person. You know who you are. Yeah, the Peak District. I am Crooks. Oh, you're in Crooks in the Peak District. Wow. So you're sort of a neighbour. You know what, Amanda? If you ever want to go for a hike with me and my girls, drop me an email. You know, because that's not far. That's not that far. Not really away from where my lovely old decrepit caravan is. And I'd go for a hike with you if hiking's your thing. World of Warcraft new campsite. Yeah, as in a meeting, I agree. Yeah. But maybe a campsite somewhere where there are a few bed and breakfasts, because I don't think camping's for everyone, even though it should be. Because I think we started out nomadic, and our body and our minds and our souls are constantly yearning to be completely and totally enveloped by nature. What was your first tape? My first tape? Okay, now. That's a bit of a mad one, actually, because my first tape, I didn't really start buying music until I left Escaped Home. So my first tape wasn't actually a purchased tape. It was a tape that I found in the street. And it was an album called Escape by a band called Journey. Don't stop believing. And I went back and played that, and I thought, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. But that was before I left school and before I left home. But it was after leaving home that I started buying when people were going out and buying Now One or whatever it was when I was 16. I'm sure it was like Now 5 or 10 or something. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I'm not a commercial music kind of fan, if I'm honest. But there was a series of tapes that were made for underground dance music called Deep Heat, and I'm wondering if any of you can remember that in the comments section. So all of my subsequent paid for tapes were all Deep Heat, because I was just building a collection. So you work in Crookslow, small world. Yeah. Do you know what? Honestly, it's you wouldn't believe how interconnected we are. If you really think about it. So this channel's got, you know, creeping up to 2,000 like members. I call you are members of the channel, you know. You don't need to, I don't need to monetize the channel to give you a members only video. Fuck that. You know, I've never been about that. We are one. We are one. And I'm not going to, and I'm not going to separate people that are paying from people that aren't. You know my views on that. I've made that very, very, very clear, passionately. But yeah, the madness of bumping into a lass, you know, Annie, you know, bumping into Annie, and then going for a pint with her and getting to know her, and she just come across my, you know, this our little tribe by complete accident, and she lives in my town. And I think the point I'm trying to make is that even though it's creeping up to 2,000 subscribers, each channel has a core, a community that's quite, in some ways, close knit, to the point where you look at the community section, you know, and you know, and then you look in the comments of some of the videos, and you've got people having proper chats, and I try and stay out of those chats. I just like and heart them. I want to stay out of them because I don't want to interfere, you know, with their flow. So yeah, considering how long the channel's been going, so over 4.5 years, and then you take into account the fact that we've got members of our little tribe all over the world, you know, Israel, America, Australia, New Zealand, loads of different places. I apologize if I've missed a country out there. I do apologize. But people from all over, you know, that are in the core, which is about 200 people. And that core is important, you know. And I don't know where I was going with that. It was, yeah. So the chances of me meeting Annie, who's part of that, you know, after 4.5 years of just kind of trying to stay under the radar, chances of meeting Annie in my own town, you know, Long Eaton, when most people have never heard of it, you know. When I was living in Nottingham, I'd never heard of Long Eaton, you know, which is just down the road. It's in the middle of Derby and Nottingham. So meeting her and then going and meeting David whilst he was just on his bike, going from Long Eaton to just get home. Another one of our core, you know. Now, Annie, I was, you know, that was a planned kind of meet up and a pint and a get to know each other and have a good chat type situation. And then she came with me to another event, which I will hopefully explain to you further down the line. But the chances of meeting David on that footpath was bizarre. It was utterly bizarre, and he's another part of our core. So I do believe in synchronicities. I do believe in signs, you know, more and more now, because it makes more and more sense. You know, we do try. I think a lot of us try to we're in a constant battle to make logic and rationalizing stuff, and sometimes you can't really give a proper rational explanation, you know. And these situations, I call them synchronicities, you know, which is probably something that's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. It's just that it's been, you know, more recently given a term, a name. Sorry, I'm falling behind again. So what was your first tape? Right, so I've gone through that. Okay, so DP, look into DP. What I'm going to do is, so I had a reminder, right, about something when I was working in kids' homes, which was unbelievably challenging. It was the hardest job I've ever done in my life, and well, I was good at it. I was good, you know. I was really, really, really good at it. I never, there wasn't one single kid that I couldn't get through to. Not one, not one, you know. And I worked for 2 different companies, and they all had a lot of different homes, and they just put you wherever they needed staff, you know. And I always got through to them. I always managed to get through to them. But there was this one particular lad that I had a really, really soft spot for, because he was such a beautiful, beautiful lad, you know. He had a purity about him. He'd been in the care system since he was 6, right? His parents were just absolute. Actually, I can't go because I've left comments on videos that have shown the documentary that he ended up being in. So I don't want to, in case he kind of follows the breadcrumbs back to this channel. I don't want him to be thinking that I've been slating his biological parents off, because I just wouldn't do that to him. So on the day that I left, he was quite tearful, and so was I. So what I'll do is, at some point, I'll post a link to this documentary about this young lad, and he was, at the time of me working with him, he was 17, and but he'd managed to stay neutral with a lot of other lads that were sharing the same house with him throughout his very, very extensive length of time in care homes, you know, children's homes. He just had this natural ability to be able to maintain some form of kind of neutrality, so he never became a victim of any of the tougher lads that were living there, you know. And he just got completely and utterly lost in Northern Soul. He was a massive fan of Northern Soul. Now, I've got to admit, so am I, because they were the original ravers, you know, because it was underground, it was a niche. There was a specific way of dancing to it. There was a specific beat, a specific feel. Amazing. Yeah. So anyway, because he was only 17 at the time, but then kind of turned 18 partway through this documentary, I'd left, I think about a month, maybe 2 months before this documentary, and Luke, who was his support worker, who's in this documentary, who is also, he's moved over to Canada now to expand on his rapping career, because the guy was a very, very talented rapper, very, but didn't take himself seriously whilst rapping. So that was quite niche, you know. And he never mentioned that once in that documentary, because he wasn't a type. Luke's not the type of guy to big himself up. Proper nice bloke. But he'd asked Luke to get in touch with me to be in some way involved, partly in this documentary, and also asked me if I would go to his 18th birthday and I declined both because it had such the job had such an impact on me that I needed to just cut ties with it completely, you know. And I felt bad because we had a really good connection, me and this Anthony. Yeah, I'll post it in the community section for you to watch. And the main point I'm trying to make is that my dad had a shirt that he bought in 1977 for dancing, right? Not a good dancer. My dad's not subscribed to the channel, so he doesn't know that I'm saying to you guys that he's a shit dancer, no rhythm, 2 left feet, but the enthusiasm was there. And this top, it is a proper vintage 1977 top that was in absolute perfect condition because it had been protected. You know, my dad was into large shirts when he was in the, you know, in the 70s, and so was I when I was at that same age. So he gave me this shirt, and I wore it once for a fancy dress night out, and there was a competition, and I won because I was just so authentically hippie. So I had a really long wig on. I had this shirt on, mad crazy shirt with big collars that came out on your shoulders, and yeah, just a mad shirt. My dad gave me that. He said, I'm never going to wear it." He says, "And I know that I know that you might." I wore it once, and then I gave it to Anthony, and Anthony made that shirt famous because it was in the documentary. So that started off from my dad, then on to me, then on to someone where it belonged. That shirt ended up exactly where it belonged because there's footage of him dancing in that shirt. I think the actual program itself, I hate the word program, documentary itself, I think it starts out with him just the camera footage of him ironing the shirt that my dad gave to me that he bought in 1977 and I gave to him. And yeah, it just goes to show that so to old Uncle Time. So I think you're probably marginally older than me. So I didn't anticipate you being into drum and bass. So a lot of people wouldn't anticipate someone, a 17-year-old lad, to be absolutely smitten with Northern Soul, which was around before he was a smile on his dad's face, you know. Right, I'm so sorry for falling back on these. Oh, and I have missed some as well. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Right, so Al's retro handhelds, mate. I think anyone who puts retro into their YouTube name is probably, you know, a bit of a raver. I was a raver back in the 90s. Remember the flyers and the tape packs, and yes, mate, have a set of Technics and a ton of old school vinyl. So intermixing as well. Brilliant. Vinyl's making a comeback because it had a certain charm about it. It had a certain specific sound about it. You know, it was very real. You could feel it more, you know. If that makes sense. I know that makes sense. I know that makes sense to you. So yeah, vinyl is making a massive comeback, and you know, so Uncle Man, sorry, Amanda, I've got no context for that message between you and T Outdoor. So old Uncle Time used to do all of the drum and bass, trance and techno since the 90s. many clubs, and in Ibiza, the Ibiza still do Terry and listen to old stuff to relax. I'm properly picturing you now in Pacha, and anyone that's been to Ibiza, you know, you got charged a shitload at the door just to get into these clubs in Ibiza, because no one was then going in and buying beer or wine or spirits or shots. You know, they were just drinking water from the taps and then getting back on the dance floor because they're off the tits. And that was the whole point. So that's why they charged a massive premium at the door of these clubs like Pacha, to try and make it pay. And it did, because these places became world renowned, and they ended up with you know, notorious DJs, world class DJs in there. You know, Pete Tong. I mean, they even coined a phrase off of the back of Pete Tong. It's all gone Pete Tong. That's in the what is it? The opposite to a dictionary. Theosaurus, not Theosaurus. It's that's dinosaur talk. But yeah, old Uncle Sam, I'd be very, very interested to know if you kind of got into the vibe of it all after just a couple of beers, or whether you were a bit experimental back then, and got into a bit of the old MDMA, and yeah, just curious. I'm pretty sure you're clean now. Don't worry, you're not going to incriminate yourself. Don't worry. Just curious. The Outrider cassette tapes, I remember them well. When they unraveled during playback, yeah, it was a bastard. It was so irritating, but they generally were salvageable. During playback, I learned that hit stop, then rewind, fix the problem. Okay, now, where were you when I needed you? Where were you when I spent half an hour fucking about with a pencil in the little groove? You know? But at least I know what to do with my tapes now. So silver lining, and cheers, Outrider. Much love, brother. Assuming you're a brother. You could be a sister. Pretty sure you're not a him, they, the, whatever. Because I don't think any of us tolerate that bollocks. DJ Hype. Oh my God. Now, DJ Hype, I saw him live. We did a set live. DJ Hype at a place called the Dielectric Club in Leicester, which was one of the first rave clubs. But it was when rave had split off into 3 different genres, and then at least one of those genres, maybe 2 of them, but one of them definitely then evolved off into more genres, which was good for me and good for old Uncle Time. So it started out as rave music, and then it kind of split off into happy hardcore, techno, and jungle. And then happy hardcore then sort of turned and slowed down and became, I believe, that's where house was born, house music. Jungle, that split into like Goldie, you know, with break beats and the metalheads, to a very, very chilled version by LTJ Buckham, who was always with MC Conrad, probably the greatest MC that's ever lived, that's sadly no longer with us. And then you had your kind of your liquid drum and bass sort of in the middle, which was what I was into. I wasn't into the dark stuff. I liked stuff that lifts me up, and liquid, soulful drum and bass. So guys, have a look at the playlists. The playlists are in there. And if you're in the right mood, maybe get a drink down. Yeah, keep an open mind and just allow yourself to try and give it a go. Just allow yourself to feel it. And who knows, you know, drum and bass has gotten me, myself, and definitely a few of my friends out of some seriously dark times. You know, music is incredibly powerful. You know, it is medicine for the spirit and the soul. It really is. You keep those things intact, your brain will follow. So yeah, DJ Hype, which witnessed a set by him, and he was particularly, and just to prove that I know who you're talking about, you know, I've not been looking at my phone or googling any of this shit, because I'm completely and totally engaged with you. DJ Hype was famous for scratching, you know, and then kicking it in with a beat, and then a little bit further in, it bring two tracks in together while scratching them both, and then get them to set off at exactly the same time, so they complemented each other. He was a very, very, very talented DJ, DJ Hype. Amanda, I find it hard to listen to some music after listening to Mark Devlin. Mark Devlin can piss on your bonfire, and although he has got some decent taste in music, and he's got a lot of very, very interesting takes on things. But you see, I'm not a flat earther, so but as I've made it very, very, very clear throughout the years that I do keep a very, very open mind. I allow ideas and words and stuff to go into my head and then just float around until they naturally make a connection with something, and then the pieces come together, and then you have something, you know, like a eureka moment, or you know, right, yeah, now that makes sense sort of moment. So I do struggle to, and again, you know, even our core 200 people, there are going to be flat earthers. There are going to be, and they will have their own unique, individual, rational explanation as to why they believe that the earth is flat. You know, and I respect that. I do respect that. And all I ask in return is for you to respect me, to not necessarily agree with you on certain things, you know. And Mark Devlin is a full-on, hardcore, die-hard flat earther, and I'm not convinced of that theory. I could be wrong, you know, but I'm not convinced of that theory. I've got a few, but I've not really. I think time will tell. So when you say that, Amanda, you find it hard to listen to some music after listening to Mark Devlin. Is that because his subject matter kind of brings your vibrations down and makes you feel a bit low to the point where you don't want to put music on, you just want to fuck off to bed? Is that what you mean? Elaborate further down, and I'll carry on reading these text messages, but I will read your response to that if you're still listening. Our Ruthie with her hand up. Hey, happy Christmas, everyone, for tomorrow. Nice, kind words there, Terry. Thank you. You're very welcome, Ruth. You know, I am telling you now, right? Regardless of who you are, regardless who is listening to me right now, and regardless of anyone that's listened to any of my videos and benefited from anything that I've said or done in any video, right? I am 100% certain that I have benefited more out of this than any of you lot, any of you. And it's too profound for me to explain. And I don't want to get emotional on a live stream. So thank you, Ruth, and Merry Christmas to you. Oh, good on you, Amanda. Yeah, honestly, she's just so lovely. But listen out for that chuckle. It's so fucking cute. It's all squisher, you know? So cute. And she won't mind me saying that either, because it's not a derogatory thing. You know, that's a proper compliment. You know, you could be really, really pissed off. You could have had, you know, when I've mentioned in previous videos about having a layered day. You know, you wake up, stub your toe, then that happens. You slip down the bottom step, you go and scold yourself on the kettle, and then your car won't start. You've got to charge it up. Then you get a bollocking off your boss for being late. He's not interested in your excuses, and you fall out with someone at work. Then you come home and someone cuts you up, and you just get layered and layered and layered. And at some point, most people at some point will snap, unless they just get themselves fuck off to bed and get a good night's sleep, some proper REM level sleep, and then everything's okay in the morning. But a lot of us can't do that, you know. But I can be in a stressful place, right? And I can watch one of Ruth Smith's videos, and it lifts me up, because she's just so lovely. She is so lovely, you know. And I'd like to. I don't know if you're still listening to me, Ruth. It says 16 people, but I don't know who that 16 people are. For the record, I had a fallout with Ruth because I felt like she'd insulted me, and I brought that up in a video, and that was childish and unnecessary. But I won't take the video down because of the amount of other content that was in there, and how that video ended up turning out. I benefited from that. Because Ruth, I posted a video that was someone else's video. It was just a quick succession of lots and lots of prepping hacks. And she sent me she put in the comment section, "Come on, Terry, I can find this sort of information, this sort of content anywhere on the internet." And I took offence to that, because I saw it as a criticism, because at the time I was struggling to put content out, because I was in a very, very low level, low vibrational state. So I was just trying to fill gaps in between my actual videos, because I was struggling. So I think I might have kind of been excessive in the way that I responded to Ruth in that video, at the start of that video. And but since then, I realized that she actually did me a favor. Her comment gave me a proper almighty kick up the arse to start doing my own content again, you know, and getting back into it. So yeah, I mean, I've apologized to you once, Ruth, and I will apologize to you again for taking offense, when you absolutely did me a favor, and you've helped me to turn things around. So God bless you, sweetheart, and much appreciated, always. Oh, look at all the love. Look at all the love. I love it. you won't believe how many times I've kind of gone into the comment section and I've seen exchanges of banter and like, having a bit of a laugh, you know, just getting on each other's levels and stuff. And yeah, once or twice, you know, I've felt a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a choke up, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful, you know. It's bringing people together, you know, and people that are extremely like-minded. Otherwise, I don't think you would gravitate to a channel that's quite relatively niche, you know. I don't think there's a single channel out there quite like this. And that was my, if you watch any of my really, really early videos, that was my intention. And I've achieved it. And we've achieved it. So someone's chucking up some little hearts there. That's very much appreciated. I have developed into a sentimental, bald-headed, big-bearded bastard, which isn't a bad thing. I think everyone should have a little bit of sentimentalism, but maybe not too much, because sentimentalism can be a chink in your armor. So Ruth said, hubby wore me down. 8 had 2. Never again. 8 had 2 what? You're going to have to elaborate on that, Ruth, because I've got all sorts of crazy mental images in my head now that I would like to get rid of. 100% agree. I don't mean to denigrate anyone who got jabbed. No, we shouldn't. You know, because I think as long as they're awake now, that is literally all that matters. That's all that matters, that they are one of us and we are one of them. You know, we are one. We are one. We're in the same mess together. We have the same level of understanding and the same level of shared concerns about, you know, what the future might bring. So yeah, you can look back. I think I've done over 320 videos now, which isn't really that much over, you know, compared to some channels over the space of 4.5, nearly 5 years. But not in one single video have I ever slated anyone for getting jabbed. You know, I've got family members. I've got a very, very, very good friend who is very, very awake, and he got jabbed, you know. But now he knows what he knows, you know. So hopefully it was just saline, like, you know, just one of the placebo elements of the batches, because he is just one hell of a good friend, you know. And another friend that I've known for nearly 3 decades, and I was thinking he wouldn't have got jabbed. I know what he's like. I know him, and he had. It was such an unpredictable, mad, batshit, bonkers, crazy time. Those people that we thought were clued up and awake, you know, turned out not to be. And some of the people that we thought were fast asleep and, you know, kind of lacking any sort of substance and depth, came out of their shell and turned out to be the complete opposite. So it's been a very, very, very interesting. Just take these glasses on. It's opened a lot of eyes and been incredibly divisive along the way. And we just need to find ways around that, which is doable. It is doable. But anyone that you feel is toxic in your life, consistently, fuck them off. The whole blood is thicker than water thing means fuck all to me. It means nothing. People are people, whether I'm connected to them by blood or not. I'm very fortunate that I'm one of 6 siblings, and only one of those siblings, the predictable one, went for it. But then that concerned me about her kids. Has she taken her kids for it as well, you know? Because they can't make their own choices, can they? You know? I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, Ryder, yeah, we shouldn't, because everyone had a reason at the time. You know, it's the people that continue to have the boosters and the people that continue to call us conspiracy theorists and nut jobs, when we're in actual fact, we are the light. You know, we are sources of proper logic, common sense, and intelligence combined, because we do so much research where we hoover up information and then decipher what we think is bullshit and what isn't. And usually we're right because of our level of critical thinking, you know. I've been warning people since, this is Amanda, I've been warning people since 2019 not to take any experiment. You could speak, you could shout it from the rooftops, Amanda. I was with you, hon. You know, I've done exactly the same. You know, and I mean shouting from the rooftops. And people were just, yeah, it was a very, very frustrating time. A very frustrating time looking back. So every week I have a one-to-one session with a client, passing on knowledge regarding medical issues to a client. And Amanda, are you like a faith healer or a lady of the night? And I know that you've got my sense of humor, so I know you won't be offended by that. But yeah, keep passing it on, keep spreading the word. Never stop trying to wake people up, even if you're finding it absolutely pointless and tiring, exhausting. You know, believe me, I know how that feels. I do. I really do. Right. But everything that comes out of your mouth does go in. It does go in, and it will make sense for them or to them further down the line. So, not everyone. There are lost causes. There are, but we can't look at everyone as a lost cause, because not everyone is. So yeah, thank you for doing that, Amanda. You're a good woman with a good soul, I can tell. Old Uncle Time, off to bed now. I'm really sorry, mate. I don't know how long ago you left that message. So I hope you get to hear me say good night, brother. And I will catch you tomorrow. And I'd like to be one of the first to say Merry Christmas, mate. Merry Christmas. Sweet dreams. Geppetto's playlist. Damn, no notifications. Hello from the colony of New Zealand. You see, our core of nearly 2,000 subscribers is about 10% of that. And that 10% hail from all over the world. Now, Geppetto's playlist, New Zealand witnessed some of the most draconian measures out of all of the Five Eyes, with, I would say, Canada being a second, Australia being a close third, England being the next, and then America. Because in America, you have the right to bear arms. which makes you a bit more difficult to fuck with. So much love to all of our American friends out there. Out of all of the Five Eyes, so again, I know you all know what I know most of you guys know what the Five Eyes are, but again, just in case there is anyone that doesn't know what the Five Eyes are, it's America, Canada, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia, right? Now, all 5 of those nations had the right to bear arms, right? Now, the last one to fall out of the Five Eyes, because America hasn't fallen yet. Good luck with trying to take. Good luck with taking these patriotic people's guns away from them. Good luck. They'd rather just shoot you in the fucking head, and I wouldn't blame them. You know, I would rather be surrounded by good men with lots of guns than have no good men with no guns be stuck in a situation with an absolute nut job with a gun. And yeah, especially the Texans. That's why they're called the Lone Star State, you know, because they've got their own grid, their own energy grid. They've got their own. They're very unique from the rest of America, the Texans, and I can see that possibly becoming independent at some point. But yeah, definitely, you know, New Zealand was the last one. So the first 3 had fallen, including the UK. We did have the right to bear arms. And believe it or not, under common law, we still do. We still do have that right under common law. But because we live under corporate and maritime law, there are lots of restrictions. So if you want to own a firearm without getting nicked, you need to get forearmed with knowledge so you can fight it in court, which again, not a lot of people have got much energy left. But dig deep, it's in you. You've got an endless supply. You just don't realize it sometimes. So yeah, it was they always use a school shootout. They always use that old chestnut to get the public opinion behind them in order to abolish private gun ownership. So New Zealand was the last to fall, which is a damn shame, you know. But we are preppers, and I think preppers are very, very solution-based people, and so we will find a way. We're very good problem solvers, and we've also got more than the average amount of foresight and the ability to predict certain things off the back of patterns and things that have been said and being observant, you know. So that does give us an edge, because we continue to think outside the box. And I know I've said that 1,000 times, but I think I've said that 1,000 times because it's just so important. You wouldn't believe the amount of ways you can defend your house, deter people from even considering targeting your house. There's lots you can do to protect yourself as well as your house. There is so much you can do, And as far as home defense is concerned, I'm talking unbelievable shit, you know. So if 50 Allens, we'll call them Allens, if 50 Allens, as in Allen snack bar, if 50 Allens started working their way down my street, 50, I believe that with the help of maybe a couple of other people, so maybe just 3 of us, again, the power of 3, right? Just 3 of us, but I would give, if no one else got on board, I would go it alone, and I would still, it could still be possible that I could be enough of a deterrent on my own with what I've got and what I know, and the fact that I've got balls. I have got balls. I'm not a big head, you know. I'm just, you know, I'm sick of all of this shit, and I think everyone gets to a point where they think, you know what, I will not bend over and allow you to shaft me anymore. I'm going to turn around to you and I'm going to fucking fight you, you know. And once that kind of that button gets pressed in your head, it can't be unpressed, because you're all of a sudden, your tolerance for dickheads, your tolerance for oppressors and bullies and all of that just goes down so much that you end up going the other direction and becoming a hell of a lot more assertive and completely relinquishing any element of a victim mentality, you know, because that is a mentality you have to avoid at all costs, because if you've got a victim mentality, not only are you draining your own, you're sucking your own fucking soul out of your body, right? Which is bad for you. It's bad for you. You need to be nurturing that soul, right? So not only are you sucking the life out of yourself and zapping the life out of yourself with a victim mentality, you're doing that to everyone that was around you, to the point where no one wants to be around you because you just bring them down all the time. Now, myself, just like many of you guys, and especially to those of you who have like, you know, followed me from the start of all this and been on this journey with me, and losing Sal, and you know, I've got loads of reasons that I could you know, turn into like a victim, because it's just, some people think it's self-help and self-help, but it's not. You know, there's nothing empowering about having a victim mentality. You've got to push right the way through that, right through it, and find that warrior, because it's in you. I'm telling you, it's in there. There's a warrior in each and every one of you. Does anyone remember that video? That was one of the first videos I put out. But I don't like to parrot stuff. I want to try and be original in every video and talk about different things and just be different. That was the whole point. So that hopefully I could attract very, very like-minded people, which is what's happened. So yeah, anyway, the whole victim mentality thing, if you think you're falling into that category, give your head a wobble. Give your head a wobble and rise above it, because it won't be good for you and it won't be good for anyone around you. You know, I could have easily have slipped down that route. But as the channel started to progress and I started to get to know people, you know, albeit you know, virtual, I understood the importance of balance, and the fact that there are silver linings absolutely everywhere. But it's all down to how hard you attempt to bring yourself out of the mud, and empower yourself, and that's how I went, But that was off the back of me coming quite close to tapping out over a year and a half ago. I've done a video on that. I'm not going to mention it again because it's something I don't like reflecting over. But something happened off the back of that, and I just got this second wind. And now, the only thing that will stop me is my heart stopping. And I intend to make sure that if that happens, I'm doing something worthwhile in the process. I've just got to let the girls out. I don't because I know that I've been looking up in the window there, and I've realised that my message of saying what I'm going to do is just do a very short 3-minute test live stream so that we're good to go for tomorrow. Well, we're now an hour and 40 minutes in, over an hour and 40 minutes. Hold on. You doing my head in? You just go for a piss? Do a wee? Right, zap it in. I do apologise for that. They just want my attention now. It's that time of night. What time are we on? Wow, I didn't realise it was that late. But this is how it can get you. You go into a flow, and but then Geppetto's playlist message retracted. Again, I'm new to this, so I've got no idea what was retracted or why you felt the need to do that. Back, because I've got a frigging arrow in the way, so I can't see what the scent. Tia doors. Back. Something my brother from another mother rant or rang. I've got a little blue arrow in the way that's obscuring the message, which is annoying. But I do like the term brother from another mother. I do like that. And I think one thing that we do need to remind ourselves is that we are all interconnected. We are. The whole butterfly effect thing is very real. And me kind of trying to maintain and promote balance is me trying to make sure that that I am I'm a realist, so I'm not going to sit there and blow smoke up anyone's arse. I'm not going to turn around and say, don't worry, everything's going to be hunky-dory and life is just going to be a piece of piss from now on. I'm never going to say anything like that to you, because that's not the case. We've got proper battles ahead of us, proper challenging battles ahead of us, but we will prevail. I'm 100% certain on that. We will. But it's going to take a lot out of you, and that's why you've got to try and keep your pecker up. And music's good for that. Exercise is good for that. Being around nature is good for that. Being around people that make you laugh, is good for that. You know, the list goes on. It's all medicine, and it keeps your batteries topped up. And that's paramount. That's paramount. It's essential that you do that. Keep yourself topped up, and know your limits, and give yourself a break from research now and then, because again, you know, a lot of us just we're so desperate to stay informed of everything that's happening, that we can become a little bit overloaded, especially when we take into account the time of year as well, which has made quite a few people a little bit more sensitive than they normally would be, which is one of the reasons why I suggested a live stream tomorrow, you know, because I know how you'll be feeling, and empathy is empathy, and if you're an empath, you're an empath. So it will make me feel less alone during the day, and less alone for you as well. And who knows, I could come back in the evening from Christmas tea with the in-laws, and be a bit wankered, and I could do just some sort of random live stream at stupid o'clock on Christmas evening. You know, I'm not ruling that out. It's all down to trying to make sure I remember how I did this, how I managed to do this. And I have written some notes down so I can hopefully just get straight back into it. But until then, welcome to my first ever live stream in nearly 5 years, because I couldn't do it from my phone, and I'm just glad it worked. I'm just glad it worked, you know. And I will see you all tomorrow. To all the night owls out there, enjoy your evening. To all of those who are about to go to bed, sweet dreams. But Merry Christmas to all of you. Much love to all of you, and ciao for now.